think I'm live right now, but it's not showing up on my computer, which means you guys can't see it either, right? Goy. It looks like I'm live, but I don't know because it's not showing up on my computer. If I don't see it, you don't see it, right? See, there we go. It'll be there this time. There it is. There I am. Okay, cool. Now I'll just wait for a few people to get here because I want to talk about Penny. I would play the Jeopardy theme song, but it's copyright protected. While I wait, let me see what's going on with my glasses. Can you guys see the fan? Got a ceiling fan up there. And the lights are on so that I can have a little bit of light on my face because I was getting all the light from over there and it was showing a bunch of my wrinkles. So I changed the lighting. So I'm going to wait a little bit, see if anybody else comes in besides me. And in the meantime, I'll be looking at my computer. I started streaming 80-something seconds ago. Good deal. My computer battery is getting a little bit low. That means I'll be stopping at some point because it's going to die and I won't be able to chat. Let me start the chat with hey, for watching. Go ahead. If you want to tell a story in the chat about a chicken that you have now or had in the past. I think we've all eaten fried chicken and chicken pot pie and chicken and dumplings. Parmesan chicken. I think we've all eaten the good chicken things. So you don't have to tell us about that. I guess if you wanted to share a secret family recipe, that'd be cool. But I'm going to be telling the story of Penny at the very start of this. 24 watching, cool. So Penny, the story of Penny came up just now because I was on YouTube, which I do quite a bit. Hello there. Hey, Colin. Hi, Water Efferwins. Hi. So Penny, or the story on YouTube was a story about a little duckling that had been raised by a chicken. And chickens will raise just about anything you let them raise if you give them something. I actually had a chicken once who got broody, and that's when they sit for 3 or 4 weeks, depending on ducks sit for 4+ weeks. Chickens sit for 3 weeks. Anyway, it's when they just sit on the eggs all day. They get off the eggs for a short period of time, maybe 45 minutes or an hour. Unless it's really hot out, maybe they might get off the nest for a while longer. And they eat, and they go to the bathroom, and they get a drink of water. If it's a duck, it might take a water bath. Hey, Rinchin. So chickens will raise anything. That's a fact. Well, about 4 years ago, I had a flock of ducks and I ended up getting some chickens. I think we went to Rural King. Rural is one of the hardest words in the English language to say. R-U-R-A-L. Rural. Sounds like I'm trying to bark. Anyway, we went to Rural King and got some chicks. Had some trouble getting them to actually survive. There was something going on. Hello there, Chandon. I'm in Tennessee. And so I think I ended up, I probably bought close to 20 chickens, but I ended up with about 7 or 8 chickens, and they were fairly young. And they all had to be locked up in the coop at night. But one night they wouldn't come in. I was probably about a half hour late chasing them into the coop, and they had all settled under our back deck, and I couldn't get to them, except one. One was already in the coop, so all the others were under the deck. And I said to them, for real, I said, fine, good luck with the coyotes. And I went in the house, and even though our house was very small and we should have heard something, we heard nothing. The next morning, woke up to the remnants of a massacre. All of the chickens were gone, piles of feathers all over the yard. But Penny was alive. She was in the coop. She was a little young red hen. And that's the same coop the ducks were in. So when all of her chicken friends disappeared in the night, with the coyotes, by the way, it was definitely coyotes. A fox will take one, maybe two. Same with a mink. Raccoons would kill them all, but not eat them all. A possum would probably just take one, maybe. But coyotes will take the whole flock. That's their jam. Hi, Silvio and Yip. And so Penny ended up being the only chicken in the coop with all of the ducks. And so she made friends. There were some ducks that were about her size, about her age, and she started hanging out with them. We had a creek right behind their coop. So when I let them out, the ducks would go in the creek. Hi, little one. Okay. Hi, Finland. Nice to see you. Have you been here before? From Finland, Ron Vald. I know we had someone else from Finland at one point, because I was asking him if he knows Samu, the top fuel motorcycle racer. Anyway, so Penny started hanging out with the ducks. Now they went fully on in the creek, but she took a while. Eventually she started going in the creek water that was about that deep, which is kind of a big deal for a chicken. They do not like water. They like to drink it. They don't like to be in it. She would go in the water, and I saw her out there, and the ducks were eating, fish and crawdads and insects and all that kind of stuff. And she started learning how to fish for crawdads. That chicken, Penny, fished for crawdads. She hung out with the ducks. They were her family. She was totally cool with it. Hey, Wade J, I'm in Tennessee. I'm from the United States, and I'm in Tennessee. So that's my Penny story. Penny was a rural, I think we've established, that's a tough word to say, rural king chick who survived and then went on to fish for crawdads. Eventually, unfortunately, she disappeared. And I think that was a fox. She didn't disappear at night. It was during the day. She was just wandering way far out of our yard, away from everybody. She still came into the creek and fished, but during the day, she kind of wandered off away from the ducks. They didn't speak the same language. She didn't get to know them. Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. United Condom. What? No, I'm super married. See? Ta-da. Can you see that? Looking at my computer. Ta-da. There we go. Yeah. Anyway, and even if I was single, I'm not dating. I wouldn't be dating. So that's my chicken story with Penny. Do any of you guys have a chicken story you want to tell? Let's see. Yeah, little one, you are not cool. Let's see what I can do here. I can remove it or put you on timeout. What should I do? I'm going to put you on timeout. There we go. I'm going to put you on timeout for 10 minutes. Okay, there we go. There, that one's gone. Our person who says he's from Iraq, he's gone. When I get these people in my chat, I always figure they're probably like the same age as my grandsons. And they're like 12, 13, 14-year-old boys. And they're just being little jerks, just to be little jerks. So I just go ahead and mute them, either permanently or just for the time that my chat is up. So I just gave him 10 minutes time off. He'll go find somebody else to be weird with. That's not a problem. I don't have a problem with that at all. He can have a good time. Does anyone have a chicken story? I'm old, Wagey. I'm old. I'm in my 60s. I'm a grandmother. I'm old. I'm in the twilight years of my life. I'm heaven bound. I've probably got another, at the most, 20 years left, and then I'm out of here, going up that way. Okay, so does anyone have a chicken story? Anyone? You can tell a chicken story. in the chat. It doesn't have to be about fried chicken, like I said earlier, or chicken pot pie, or chicken enchiladas, although I do make really good chicken enchiladas, and I can give you my recipe. I boil chicken breast only. I don't put any other meat in it, just chicken breast. I boil it, I dice it up into very small pieces, and then I can't eat these anymore because I can't eat flour, but I get out some flour tortillas, and I just open up a can of enchilada sauce, either green or red, depending on my mood. I can't eat that anymore either. I've never been to Sri Lanka. No. Chicken pizza? No, Chad, I've never eaten chicken pizza. Yeah, I tell him he's lucky all the time. No, I don't. I really don't. He's in some of my videos. You can probably, yeah, in fact, I'll be uploading a short of him in the next 3 or 4 days. I've been taking a lot of videos. Anyway, hey, William. So I take my enchiladas, well, first of all, I take my enchilada sauce, and I forget the brand I used to use because I can't eat this stuff anymore, so I don't make them anymore. But I take the flour tortillas and I take the sauce and I pour it into a round dish that's big enough for the tortillas. So usually it's a pie plate, and then I coat both sides of the tortilla with that sauce. Then I put it into my baking dish. It's usually a square Pyrex. And I put the diced chicken, and then I have already fried up some finely diced onions in some of the enchilada sauce, and I put a little bit of onions across the chicken, and then I put a little bit of shredded cheese and some sliced olives and maybe some diced either tops of onions or chives, and then I roll them up. And I just do the first one, and then I lay out the second one and decorate it, and then I roll it up and shove it up against the first one, and then I do the third one and the fourth and the fifth, and all the way till that pan is full of enchiladas. And then I put all the leftover sauce on top. I put a little more cheese, some more of the sliced olives, and if there's any chicken left over, I put that on top. Put it in the oven. Everything's already cooked except the tortilla needs to be crispy. So I put everything in the oven and I bake it probably about 350 for maybe 20 minutes. And that's a really good chicken recipe. Chicken enchiladas, really good. The first time my youngest daughter ate them, she took a bite. She was probably 3 or 4 years old. And she said, poison. Poor thing. Needless to say, Mommy's chicken enchiladas were not her favorite. I don't know if she ever ate them again. She thought they tasted like poison. They did not. They tasted like enchiladas. But she was little. Her taste buds hadn't developed yet. I don't know if you guys are aware, something I learned when I was trying to be a nurse. Your taste buds don't fully develop until you turn 19 years old. So give yourself a break if you hate spinach and you're only 14 and you're making rude comments in my chat. I do the same with duck meat, and I chop it up real fine and I make duck enchiladas. Now I use corn tortillas because I can eat corn, but I still have a hard time with that enchilada sauce because I have found out recently that one of my worst asthma triggers is peppers. And you can't find an enchilada sauce that doesn't have peppers in it. It doesn't have to be spicy, but it's got some kind of pepper, like a bell pepper or an Anaheim. It's got something from the pepper family. And I can't eat peppers anymore. So I can make them for other people though. And so I do make them with the corn tortillas because I don't have to worry about getting sick by handling flour tortillas. Like I would get very sick if I was handling flour tortillas. There's just the chance that I'm going to ingest it somehow. That's it. Hey, Charlie. Right. I'm a grandmother, honey. You're a pepper freak. Me too, William. That's the hard part. I love peppers. I grew up in a very, I won't say ethnically diverse family, but we definitely appreciated food from other cultures and loved true Mexican food from Central America. Spicy, very loved spicy. I still grow peppers for my husband. He used to can jalapeno peppers every year. He hasn't canned them in the last few years. I've still got jars full of, like half-gallon jars full of jalapeno peppers that he canned like 5 years ago. I don't even know if they're still good. Anyway, so that was my chicken recipe for chicken enchiladas. You're welcome. It's good with any kind of tortilla. I could make them with some of my gluten-free tortillas that I have, but they're made with chickpea flour, and chickpea flour is nasty tasting, just nasty. So anyway, does anybody have hey William, I'm doing great. I just told a chicken story. Did you hear it? See, I'm looking over here so I can see the chat. That's why I'm like, hello. Let's see. How you find him, tell the story. How I found it. I met my husband in a biker bar. So some of you know my motorcycle story. Oh, the mailman just dropped off mail in the mailbox. I'm actually surprised both big dogs didn't just explode barking. They're both right here. They both heard it, but neither one of them jumped up. The one over there, she's looking around. She's ready to go tell someone to get off our property. Get off my lawn. In fact, the mail people do walk from house to house on the lawn, so she could actually say that. And then the Catahoula, he's right there. He opened his eyes and looked up, and then he put his head down and closed his eyes again. So even though he would like to bark, he's not really aggressive. The other one, she's aggressive. Her hackles are up right now. Dang, she's serious. It's just, oh, it's probably bills. She knows I hate the bills when they come. Nobody's giving away money. If they were giving away money, she might be happy. She should get a new toy or a new bed or something. Hey, Melvin Lord, my favorite food, I don't really have a favorite food because I'm allergic to so many things. I really can't eat much. I don't like to think about my favorite foods because I can't eat them anymore. But I mean, I used to enjoy, chocolate cake. Gluten-free chocolate cake is nasty crap. I used to enjoy my enchiladas. I can't eat those anymore. They're not poison. They're not poison. Poor thing. My poor daughter. I feel bad. She had very sensitive taste buds when she was little. Oh gosh, what else? I did buy a gluten-free pizza today, and it has spices. It doesn't list what the spices are. I know there's peppers in it, so I'll take a couple of allergy pills, and I'll use my inhaler, and I will enjoy myself a piece of pizza and hope I don't get hives, because hives are something that visit me when I eat the wrong food. It's all very exciting to get hives for like 4 months. It's a great way to spend your summer, covering up all your itchy spots all the time. Yuck. Let's see. Jamal, grab the camera for Lamar Jackson edit. I don't know what that means. William Barry, it sucks big time. Stop lying. We all know you love Burger King. Oh gosh, I've never eaten at Burger King. I know you think I'm crazy. My children have eaten there. My grandchildren have eaten there. I can't remember eating at Burger King. It's never been my thing. Fast food has never been a comfort food for me, probably because every time I ate it, I got sick, and I just stopped eating it. I didn't know what was making me sick my whole life. Cloyd, yeah, right. Melvin, this channel is generally about farm. That's why I told the chicken story at the beginning. I do some foraging stuff, and actually we did mushrooms this year. My husband and I drilled more than 450 holes in multiple logs, and we put in wood plugs that have mushroom spawn on them and hammered them in, and we're going to be hopefully harvesting a lot of shiitake mushrooms next year. So we do that. Goats and ducks. I have a lot of goat and duck stories. You can look at my channel. Lately though, for the last week plus, it's been junior drag racing. So if you look back at some of my shorts that I've posted in the last week, there were around 600 junior dragsters at the Thunder Valley Dragway in Bristol, Tennessee. My husband and I travel all over. I've been to drag races in Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina, Louisiana. I don't remember if I've been to drag races in Georgia. Tennessee, Kentucky, Illinois. I'm looking off into the distance. This is me inside my brain trying to figure it all out. Michigan. I haven't been to any drag races in Maryland, but maybe next year. I don't know. I have a chance to go to Illinois again in a couple of weeks, I think, but I don't know if I'm going to go. Anyway, a lot of drag racing, motorcycle drag racing, junior dragsters, NHRA, all the things. Lots of noise, lots of fuel, lots of fast, everything fast, 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 fast. Oh gosh, the junior drags went great. It's fun to watch. 6-year-olds in these little dragsters. They're so funny. And then you've got the 17-year-olds, and that's the oldest. And they're just like packed in their dragster because they're so close to finishing, because once they turn 18, they can't do it again. They're not going to get a bigger dragster because that's probably a $25,000 investment, because, you know, just because they're 6'2" or whatever. I mean, they're not in the same dragster they were in when they were 6 years old. You can see them get bigger, you know, over time. But I saw one of the young men in, and he was just crammed in there, and he had probably had it since he was maybe 12 or 13. I don't know, but it's quite an investment. But there were a lot of dragsters, and I'm not done. Is it downloading or uploading? I'm not done putting all of the shorts that I recorded onto YouTube yet. I still have quite a few. I still have the semifinals and the finals. I'm still putting up elimination, the final elimination rounds. But you've got, let's see, 6, 7, 8, 9. 6 through 9 is one category. And then I don't know what the next one is, but they're in 2 to 3 year ranges up to 17. And it's just a great family fun sport. You've got moms and dads and siblings and aunts and uncles, grandparents. You got all kinds of people out there. It's great. Everybody's camping. Everybody's having a good time. And that was the Eastern Conference Finals. So the dragsters came from everywhere around the Eastern Conference and Puerto Rico. They had a huge team from Puerto Rico. That was really fun watching them. And their teams had special shirts with really great graphics on them and lots of team spirit. A lot of dragsters from Puerto Rico. Last year there was only one, and I don't remember why the rest of them didn't come last year, but they went back to Puerto Rico and raised a lot of money to bring the whole team. But there was just one young lady. I met her this year. I didn't meet her last year, and she came last year. I think she did pretty well. And I don't know how she did this year, but last year she did pretty well. Anyway, fun sport. Yes, so I do a lot of that. Hello, Blacksmith. Where are you? Yeah, you know, we don't do that sort of stuff on here, so I'll go ahead and let's see. I don't think I want to hide you, but I'm going to put you on timeout for 10 minutes, and maybe when he comes back, he won't be doing that. I don't do politics. How old are you supposed to be to face? I don't know what that means. Dean, thank you for loving my hair. I just realized in a live a few days ago, I'm not gray. I'm taupe, and that's so boring. But I used to color my hair in my bathroom, and I cut my hair. I haven't had it cut professionally in 20 years. Yeah, you know, Steph, I agree. I don't know what Lamar Jackson edit means. Is that, Jamal, do I need to put you on timeout? I don't know what that means, but you keep putting it in the chat, and it's getting boring. Well, no, I can, because it's obvious we're not talking politics, right? I mean, if I was talking, it says, let's talk about chickens right there, right? Isn't that what it said? Let's talk about chickens. And there was even a little picture of a chicken. So yeah, it's a edit of a cool man. Okay, all right. Oh yeah, no, I didn't think it was political, actually. That's cool. I don't want to do, you know, there's some guys come in here, and like I said earlier, they're like 12, 13 is what I'm guessing. They're not sophisticated, so their stupid stuff is really stupid. Can I see your feet? Oh, give me a break. No, but if you want, you can see a jar of pickled chicken feet in the ethnic section at your grocery store. Have you guys ever seen those? The chicken feet? I'm going to go back to chat. People scrolling won't see. I didn't see chicken. Ah, you want to see a chicken? I don't have a chicken, Dean. I told a story about my chicken that used to fish for crawdads in the creek because she grew up with a bunch of ducks and they taught her how to. Yes, James Joseph, I am an old fart. I am old and I fart. Everybody farts. Chicken feet they're in jars because if they were in cans, you couldn't see how disgusting they are. But I think you can also get duck feet because when I used to take my ducks to the butcher, they always asked me if I wanted the feet. And I said, no, I want the body, no head. You can have the head. And I want the legs, but I don't want the feet. And I want the liver, the heart, the gizzard. I think that's it. Liver, heart, and gizzard. Yeah. Because I cooked them up, gave them to my dogs. So I ate the liver. I love liver. You eat more chicken than any man ever seen. Yeah, chicken is good. You know what I did with the liver last year? It wasn't duck liver or chicken liver, but it was from a deer. We have hunters that come to our property, and all we ask them is just a little bit of the spoils. So, and I like the liver. I think my husband asked them, do you guys eat the liver? And they said, no. So he's like, well, let's bring it for me. So I sliced it real thin and I put it in my dehydrator and I made liver chips. And some of it I seasoned and I really liked it. Most of it I didn't. It's dry. You have to eat it with something to drink. You can't just munch on it like you can potato chips. But I was working, it was after Hurricane Helene had busted through our part of Tennessee. And there was a lot of cleanup going on, and I got a job with a contractor that was hired through the county to help monitor the cleanup. And I was working outside all day, like 10, 12-hour days, depending on the day. And there really wasn't an opportunity to go buy food because I can't eat most food in stores. I can't eat in restaurants. So I just took stuff with me, and I didn't want to just munch on potato chips all day. So I took the liver chips and ate them a lot. I snacked on them a lot. Okay, let's see. A chicken edit. Frying eggs is fried chicken. I don't know what that means. Frying eggs is fried chicken. I do fry eggs. Liver, heart, and gizzard was my nickname. Oh, that's weird, Dean. Okay, Spokehead 82, I feel like you're a child and you're talking outside your lane. So maybe you might want to go talk like that somewhere else. Done. All right, took that one out. You see what I mean when I say that some of these guys sound like children? Don't they sound like, 12-year-old boys, and they're all like, oh, look what I type. Oh, no. They don't even know what they're typing. They just know that they heard somebody else say it, one of the older kids on the school bus. Do I like the BBC? I used to watch, well, of course, when I was in England, I watched the BBC a lot. That's all they had. I do. I watch some of the old crime shows. I enjoy them. I practice my British accent when I'm watching them. Jamal, you're a girl. Hi there. It's summer vacation. It is summer vacation. Yes, it is. Okay, another chicken story? Let me think. Oh, my drunk chicken. Okay, this is a good story. There are 18 watching. Cool. Tell me where you're from because I'm in Tennessee. Okay? USA. North America. Northern Hemisphere. That's true, Jamal. I can't assume, but I do. I'm 62. I assume a lot of things. So, but I apologize. If you're truly a girl named Jamal, that's a beautiful name, so that works. A long-haired Chihuahua, you nicknamed it Gizzard. That's funny. Okay, so my chicken. This was when I was a little girl. I think we had 3 white, no, did we have 3? Maybe only 2. White Leghorn chickens. Leghorn or Leghorn, depending on where you're from. California, they're called Leghorns. Tennessee, they're called Leghorns. So I had a couple of Leghorn chickens, and they laid eggs every day. When I was 10, my brother wanted to borrow my bicycle. I don't know why. I think something was wrong with his bicycle, because he had a boy's bicycle and it had the brake on the handlebars, like here, and I think it shifted too. Mine was just a standard Huffy bicycle, and it didn't have gears, and the brakes were on the pedals. You know, you just went backwards, and that's what stopped it. Well, it had a basket on the front of it, and it was very girly. It was a white basket, woven plastic white basket with a yellow flower on it. Very feminine, very cute. It was a yellow bike with a banana seat. It was an awesome Huffy bicycle, worth a lot of money now. However, he wanted to borrow my bike because he wanted to go riding with his friends. So I said, okay, but he didn't want my basket. So I took the basket off, and in the basket that day were the 2 eggs I had collected from the chickens. My brother, I took the eggs in. We were living in an apartment for a very short period of time because my dad had sold the house we lived in, and he had bought another house. But the house he bought had to be moved because it was going to be demolished to a whole other neighborhood over there. So for that period of time, we lived in an apartment. So I went into the apartment with my basket and the eggs, and the next thing I know, I hear screeching and bad stuff on the road, and my brother had ridden right out in front of a car on my bicycle. And the guy driving the car, it was a Volkswagen Bug. It was one of the original Volkswagen Bugs. Very lightweight car, engine in the back. He was going below the speed limit. It was a 25-mile-an-hour street, but he was going, he estimates, about 15 miles an hour. This is one of the reasons I drive so slowly, especially on residential streets. Oh, I get nervous. He got smashed by that car, my brother did, and so did my bike. Although I don't remember thinking about my bike because my brother was in the street. It was bad. And we're talking chickens, but this is all very important, okay? So, hi, Vachel. 40 quid. Are you mad? It's only a bottle of water. Okay, I'm out of the conversation. My chat has taken off. It's on a different runway, and it's just going off into the sky without me. But that's okay. I'm still telling my chicken story. I know my brother jumped in the middle of it, but it's important because he got hit by a car in front of our apartment. He just rode right out in front of it. No fault of the driver of the car. Absolutely no fault. In fact, a lawyer got a hold of my parents and said, do you want to sue him? And they said, absolutely not. He should sue us. Our son traumatized him by riding his sister's bicycle right out in front of him. I wish I could find the guy and thank him for driving so slowly. So my brother was in the street. Trigger warning. I'll give you a chance to turn off the volume if you've got little kids in the house. Okay, I was 10, he was 12, and I went out to the street because all the cars had stopped. There were people talking, no cell phones, of course, but people were running to call. We didn't even have 911. It was just call the police, whatever, I don't know. We lived right across the street from the entrance to the emergency department at a hospital. And it took them about a half an hour to get there to my brother with an ambulance to pick. Oh, we had to call the ambulance company. That's right. You didn't call the police. You called the ambulance company back then. So they came with the ambulance about a half hour after he got hit. But in that meantime, he had a head injury. He's laying in the road. And there's this halo of blood just going out around his head. And he was just kind of laying there like that. Totally unconscious. He was not functioning at all. I just remember seeing his head and this big circle of dark blood around his head. And eventually somebody grabbed me and took me back in. I don't remember anything after that. I probably went in and I guess we had a television. They might have sat me down to watch TV. I don't know. Maybe someone took me to my grandma's house or something. He went into the hospital. He was in a coma for 28 days. Those chickens didn't lay a single egg for 28 days. They laid eggs the day he got hit. Those, I told you, they were in the basket. I took the basket off my bicycle so he could ride it. And they didn't lay the next day, the day after, the next week, the week after that, the week after that. 28 days. My brother woke up from his coma, and those 2 chickens started laying eggs every day at the 28-day mark after he woke up out of his coma. I don't know why. I really don't know why. I was the one who took care of the chickens. And I was 10. I didn't know people could die. Like, I knew old people died. And I probably saw stuff on the news where people died. But I didn't think little kids died. I didn't think my brother was going to die. When my mom wanted me to cry with her, I had to kind of fake it because I didn't think there was any big deal. He was in the hospital. They were going to fix him. They were going to, he was going to be fine. I didn't see him for those whole 28 days because he was in ICU. I kind of became a little hospital rat during that time because my dad was working. Of course, he had to. He had at least 2 businesses at the time. He might have had 3 businesses. I don't remember. They were all connected. But my mom was there all of the time. And so I was home. I was at different family members. I was all around. But again, I wasn't like super stressed out. So the chickens didn't pick anything up from me, and my parents weren't around for them to pick anything up from them. But those doggone chickens, they stopped laying 28 days, the whole time he was in the coma. They didn't even know my brother. I was the one who took care of him every day, doggone it. Oh, they knew him, I guess. But that's my chicken/egg story. Yeah, R.I.P. chicken. Well, Gilmar, he actually rode a bicycle out into the street. No, they weren't jaywalking. Okay, so that story is over with. I'm actually going to end this live because I have a lot more chicken stories. In fact, if one of you comes in and asks me if I'm paying attention to the chat, that I could tell you about one of those chickens. One of the chickens did eventually pass away, and then we just had 1 chicken left, and we named her Chi-Chi. I think that means boobies in Spanish. Anybody here speak Spanish? I don't. Ashak, I don't even drink caffeine. I'm completely uncaffeinated. I just have a very joyful spirit. Can't you tell? Okay. My brother had a traumatic brain injury, and as a result, he's not quite as mature as he would be. He's in his 60s, but he's probably about the same as someone who drinks a lot of alcohol or maybe did too many drugs. I mean, he's not that different. I think he's probably about as normal as you can be. You really don't know that he had a traumatic brain injury as a child. He's had the same job for more than 20 years. He's been married for almost 40 years. Of course, my clock is going off. What time is it? It's 4 o'clock. Oh, wow. My computer's down to 6%, so I'm going to have to go over there and plug it in. My phone is probably losing power as well. Yeah, Gilmar, you know what? I'm just going to remove that. Okay. Hey, guys. You guys have a great end of your day. Have a wonderful week. I might go live later in the week. I really don't know. I like to be in the house alone when I go live, just because there's a lot of distractions when my husband's home. And I am surrounded by my dogs. Literally, one there, one there, one there. There's not one behind me because there's a wall. Speaking of behind me, check out that painting. I'm going to move this up, show you guys this painting, if you can see it. It's kind of cool, huh? That was painted by an Australian artist. Can't remember his name. I need to look it up. It's a very nice painting. I like it. Okay, kids, you all behave yourselves. As my dad used to say, be good, and if you can't, be good at it. That was my dad. All right, I'm going to end the live stream. I'll see if I can end it without actually turning my phone around. Maybe not. All right, I'm gonna have to pick up my phone. It's gonna be very awkward.